Hi, and welcome again to another video of A Lot of Stamping Fun. My name is Lotte Noordzij. I'm an independent demonstrator in the beautiful city Rotterdam in the Netherlands. Today I'm participating in a video blog hop with some global Stampin'Up demonstrators. All the demonstrators, you will see their video links down below, are located in the US, in the UK, in Scotland, in Germany, France, Australia. So you see we are all over the world, and you can just hop on from our video to the other videos. The theme for this month, the month of March 2020, is spring. And for springtime, I think about Little Lamb. I think about Easter. But I also think about blossoms. And for this cute little project, I took out the Magnolia Blooms stamp set. It's a smaller set than the Good Morning Magnolia set, which is in the annual catalog. This Magnolia Blooms stamp set is, you can find it in the Experience Creativity brochure on page number 8. And you can see it only has a couple of smaller stamps. And what is so great about this set is that this small bloom coordinates perfectly with the Magnolia Lane Designer Series paper. I will show you. This is all the paper with all the beautiful magnolias on it and the beautiful colors of early espresso, petal pink, mossy meadow, and a little bit of soft saffron is in there as well. But this little flower is exactly the same flower of this stamp set. You can see over here. So I thought it would be nice to combine those two. And I am a very huge fan of giving just little gifts when I go somewhere, just to show my appreciation that someone is hosting something, or just when I hop over for coffee to a friend, I try to bring something. But you can also add some money in here, or a gift. I don't think a gift card will fit, but some money in here if I use it for a birthday. Sometimes in the Netherlands we have this different chocolate bar from Merci. It's not the regular Merci one, but it's a flat, like a bar. And they are individually wrapped, and they come in this pack, and 4 will go in here, as you can see. And I thought it would be nice to wrap these individually in a nice packaging. So I'm going to show you how to do that with all the measurements. I will mention all the measurements of this little packaging in centimeters, because I'm in Europe and we use the metric system, but I've also converted it to inches. And all the inch measurements will be in the blog post, and the blog post will be in the link down below in the description box of this YouTube video. So I'm going to start, and just follow along, and I will tell you what you need to make this. First, you need a piece of mossy meadow cardstock, and it measures 15.1 centimeters by 13 centimeters. You need 2 small pieces of the Designer Series paper, which measures 4.2 centimeters by 9 centimeters. And that's all you need. Yes, of course, a bit of scrap of white, and scrap of the beautiful vellum, colored vellum paper. So what we're going to do now is take out our scoring tool, and I use the Stampin'Up trimmer for that, which has a cutting blade and a scoring blade. I need to make sure that my trimmer or my cutting blade is all the way down, and I'm using only the scoring blade. So on the 15.1 centimeter edge, I'm going to put it up to the edge of the trimmer, and then I will score at 2 centimeters. Then I go to 2.8. Then I will go to 12.3. And 13.1. This all is in centimeters. The inches will be in the blog post, in which I have all the measurements also in inches. Then I'm going to turn my paper 1 turn, so a quarter, and then I'm going to score at 2 centimeters. Oops. 2.8 centimeters. 7.5 centimeters. And 8.3 centimeters. And this is all that you need to do. So you end up with 8 score lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next thing we're gonna do, and this is the pattern. I will show you this one. I think that's better. So on the paper, you'll see you have a larger piece of paper here and a smaller piece of paper there. You put the larger paper towards the top, and then start cutting all the way from the second score line 1, 2 to the second score line 1, 2. So I'm gonna get my multi-cutting tool out, which is my paper snips, or also known as scissors. And I'm just cutting this whole piece out. I will also do that on the other side. So from the second score line 1, 2 to the second score line 1, 2. So all the way up to the second corner. Then below here, I will go the second score line. I will go all the way to the second score line. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'm going to do this. And I do that on the other side as well. So 1, 2, 1, 2. And go all the way to the second score line. Like that. Then I go to the first score line to the second score line. So 1. And go all the way down, and I do that here too, so 1 and all the way down, and I'm cutting this one off on the second score line. So then you end up with the paper with a larger flap, the back a smaller flap, and the 2 little thingies. To make sure you have enough room to build your box, make sure that you do a little bit of, just take a little piece off, just cut it in on a teeny tiny angle towards the corner, like this. Same here. You can choose to take off the longer flaps and only use the little ones. I prefer to do the longer ones because it gives it a little bit more sturdy. Then I take my bone folder and I'm gonna score all the lines and make sure score all the lines and make sure that I really push them so I have really nice crisp score lines. And I do that on all score lines. And for this one, I only take the whole thing, so with the little flaps. And then this one, I only do the bigger one, like that. Then I like to make it a bit more fancy, so I take out my Detail Trio punch, which has a little corner rounder in it over here. And I fold in all the excess paper so I can have, I make sure that I can go all the way into my punch, and I have to push it down all the way. So not only on the side where the corner rounder is, but the whole punch. I'm going to do that on the other side as well. So I fold in the paper like that, put it in, and use my whole weight on the punch. Then I'm going to do this one. So I fold in this piece, and I will do it over here and the other side. You can also, of course, do the ones here below, but I prefer not to do that. I only want to make round corners on these. So I'm going to take this and fold it in as well. Oh, make sure there's no other paper in the punch. Like that. Oh, make sure that it's lined up really well, then you have a good one. And over here as well, on the other side, you just punch, make sure you go in all the way. There you go. So now the base of our little box is ready. I prepared 2 pieces of designer series paper, and one of the 2 I'm gonna round the 2 corners, because I'm gonna put it on here, and it looks really nice if I round the corners of the designer series paper as well. Okay, so then we have this. I'm gonna glue the designer series paper onto my little box. That's oh, make sure that I have some glue running. There we go. So the ones without the round corners, I'm putting it on the back of the box. And the one with the round corners, I'm going to put them on top of the box, on the front flap. And make sure you have that really nice green edge around it, so it has a really nice finish. There you go. Like that. Now the box is almost ready. Oh, we only have to glue it together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the chocolates over here. I'm going to take one of the chocolates. It's always very important when you make a box is that you put the box together with the content in it, because then you can still wiggle a little bit, and if you need a little to make it to give it a little bit more room of about a millimeter or 1/16 of an inch, then it's still possible. Now I'm gonna put some glue on the little flaps down here. 1 and 2, and they will make the bottom. They will be attached to the bottom of the box. So I'm gonna put it together, and I make sure that my corner is really nice and straight like this. I'm going to do that on the other side as well. So put it together. So make sure that when you put it together that the corner is really nice and straight and not on an angle. There you go. The last thing I'm going to do is put the chocolate in. Make sure that my that the brand of the chocolate is on top. People like this brand of chocolate here in the Netherlands. They really like it. For the Dutch, I bought it at Kruidvat. They had a bunch of different flavors laying around. But you know, with Kruidvat you have to hurry because it's not always there anymore. Okay, then you just put a little bit of glue on the flaps below, on the bottom flap, and make sure that you put the edge of the flap all the way to the side, like this. Then it's nice and straight. And then you see that your box is nice and straight. So the box is ready, and we already decorated the outside with the designer series paper. The only thing that we need to do is put something nice on top of it. And that's where the scrap papers come in. I used some of the Perennial Essence vellum. That's the vellum which is also in the annual catalog, and it comes in 3 different colors. It is the So Saffron, the Petal Pink, and the Old Olive. I really like this vellum. It has a lot of possibilities, and over here I just use it as a little mat to take the white a little bit off the designer series paper. So I took my Stitched So Sweetly dies. They have really nice label dies, but also the very cute scalloped rectangles. And for the vellum I took the second size from the inside, so this one. And for my saying I used the first one. So I take my, where is it? Okay, there we go. I take my die and I put it on the vellum, and I put it in between my plates and run it through the cutting machine. And then I have this beautiful, nice little label that can go on top of there when we start gluing it together. I'll put it just here. Then I am gonna stamp a little. First of all, I'm gonna do the saying, and the saying is a saying from a Dutch set which is called Voorjaarswensen, and voorjaar is spring, so I thought it was appropriate to use it during this video hop, which has as a theme spring. And I'm using the saying om van te smullen, which means thoroughly enjoy this. Something like that. So really enjoy this, what you get. So om van te smullen. It's kind of like yummy. I'm using the Inkpad Early Espresso to stamp the saying. It's a red rubber one, so I'm not gonna, or a cling one. I'm not using a little mat underneath it. Stamp it. And I have a perfect print of the saying om van te smullen. Then I take the first size, so the one that's all the way on the inside of the scallop dies, and they're called the Stitched So Sweetly. I'm gonna put them around the saying, put it on my plates, run it through the cutting machine, and then I have this beautiful label, which will go on top of here. I'm just gluing it on top of there, and I make sure that my glue is only underneath the label and under the stitch part. Put them together like that. So make sure it's straight. There we go. That's that. Then I wanted to add some of the really cute little flowers. So this stamp set is a photopolymer one. So I'm using my little piercing mat, put my cardstock on there, my Whisper White, and also using the Early Espresso ink. And then stamp 2 of the flowers. 1 and 2. There you go. I learned that if you let your classic ink dry for a little while, and it doesn't have to be hours, so I'm just grabbing now my stamping blends, that you can work with the stamping blends on the regular ink as well, and it doesn't bleed. Just wait a little bit and don't go over it too much, but it works perfectly. So I'm gonna do some green on the leaves. You see, it doesn't bleed. The brown stays, or the early espresso stays where it's supposed to be. It's not going anywhere, so that's good. Then I take my darker one and just accentuate the little vines in the leaves, so it is a little bit darker. And then I'll blend it a little bit in, like that. And you don't have to go all the way to the end of the leaves. A little bit of white is fine. Then I'm gonna do the flower, and as you can see on the paper, the flower is only colored halfway. So I'm gonna do the same thing, and what I will do, I will just take my Stampin' blend. This is the light petal pink, and I take the brush side, and I go from the middle towards the middle of the flower, like that. It's very easy, very quick. You don't have to think about it. And then to give it a little bit more, I just go over it one more time. And then you see that the spots where you go over will turn a little bit darker. And those little leaves are in petal pink as well. There you go. So now my flowers are ready to be cut out with the multi-purpose cutting tool, also known as a paper snips, also known as a pair of scissors. And then you start just cutting it and leave a little white edge. Okay, I've prepared this. So I already have my 2 cut out leaves here for you guys. And now we're gonna build up the front. I like to put one flower behind the label and the vellum. So I'm gonna add some glue and just shove it in like that. And I will put one over here with a little bit of glue on top of the label. And make sure that all the letters are still visible, like that. Then I grab my little box and some dimensionals. Grab my tool. To make sure that the dimension will not be visible underneath the vellum, I just put the dimensionals up here. So there you go. So behind the white of the label. Oh, this one is behind the flower, and I add 2 flowers there as well, or 2 dimensionals on the flowers as well. So everything pops up really nice, like that. Next thing I will do is I will cut off a little bit of the very beautiful petal pink with champagne metallic edge ribbon. I really love this. It's beautiful. It has a beautiful shine on it with the metallic champagne border. It's gorgeous, and it also is gorgeous on this little gift package. So I'm just gonna put a little bow there. Hope that this will work in. Yeah, there we go. It's okay. There you go. Little bow, and then I take off the small papers of the with my take your pick. That's a really handy dandy tool. As you can see, I just put the little point in there and just get them off. And I put this one on top and make sure it's a little bit in the middle. I can always do the ribbon a little bit like that. There you go. And now we are, oh no, we are not done, because I want to add some of the champagne rhinestones on this as well. So it becomes a very rich gift. It looks really rich. I like that. And I put one rhinestone over there. And let's put a rhinestone over here. There we go. So I've added 3 little champagne rhinestones to it, and now I can hand it out to someone I will visit or I just really like. I hope you liked what I made for this spring themed global video blog hop. Look down below in the description box. There you will see all the links of all the colleagues in the UK, Scotland, USA, Germany, France and Australia. They also have prepared a project with the theme spring. Visit them, please. If you liked the video, if you like our videos, just give us a thumbs up here underneath the video. It's also really nice if you leave a comment, because then we know that we are doing this for you. Down below in the description box, you will also find the link to the blog hop. To the blog post with all the measurements in centimeters and also in inches. I think you will. It will be very easy to follow along, and I think that's it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.